Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. Today I'm sharing the cards I made using Love From Lizi's February 2022 card kit. The theme is a little bit of magic. This is such a fun kit with lots of cheerful images and bright colors. As I'm recording this voiceover, the kit and most of the add-ons are still available, and I will have links provided in the description box below. Let's go ahead and get started with card number 1. The kit includes a ton of ephemera, and if that's not enough for you, there's an add-on ephemera pack as well, and there's more sentiments in the add-on ephemera pack. So I have a fun polka dot paper for the background. I'm adding this cheerful sun. I decided to have the very right side of the sun hang off the edge of the paper. Then I just flipped over that polka dot panel and trimmed off the extra. I'm also adding this pink hot air balloon ephemera piece. I did put some foam dimension on the back of the balloon piece. For the sentiment, I'm using Thinking of You, and this is one of the cut-aparts included on the 12 by 12 sheets. There's lots of icons and sentiment cut-aparts. I'll have the very left side of the sentiment tucked behind the balloon. So first I'll add that sentiment using some ATG tape. Then I can add the balloon, and I will have the clouds on the very left hanging off the edge of the card. I also have a star ephemera piece, and this is so pretty it has an iridescent finish on it. Underneath the sentiment, I'll be adding a strip of white cardstock, but first I'll put some of this beautiful rainbow striped washi tape on top of that white cardstock. That'll just help it pop. And this washi tape is one of the add-ons. There's 8 different rolls included in the set. I'll also be using the washi tape that has the sentiment Yay on this beautiful rainbow. So I did wrap the ends around the back, and that will just make sure that washi tape won't peel off later. Next, I'll add a couple of Love From Lizi peel-offs. This is the silver mirror peel-off in the pinstripe style. I'm using the narrowest width and putting it along the edge of the Yay washi tape. That'll just add a little extra shine. So I'll put some double-sided tape on the back of this piece and adhere it right underneath the sentiment and the pink balloon. Now when I was placing it on the card, I felt it wasn't completely straight. So I tried to lift it up, and unfortunately I did rip part of that blue polka dot paper on the right side underneath the Yay sentiment, but I will fix that here in a moment. First, I'll layer this background panel on some mint green cardstock and then again on some dark blue cardstock. The green and the mint cardstock are both included in the kit. I'll put my card front onto a card base. And all of my cards in this video are American Standard A2 size, 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. So to cover up that little tiny rip at the bottom, first I'm putting a drop of liquid adhesive. Of course, it came out really fast, so I just want to make sure to lay that ripped piece down. Then I'll add a peel off, and this is the straight style, so it's a little bit wider than the pinstripe, and it's the clear iridescent color. So now the card will have some extra sparkle, and no one will know that I ripped some of the pattern paper underneath. I'm also adding some of the peel offs that are included in the kit. This is that same clear iridescent color, but in the mini circles. You will receive a brand new sheet of the mini circle peel-offs, but I like to finish off a sheet before I start another one. I'm adding a few of the circles in the background, also putting one on the cloud next to the balloon and one above the sentiment. So there is my finished card, and this is card number 1. I love all the sparkle and those bright colors. For card number 2, this is one of my favorites. I love the fruit ephemera pieces and their happy little smiley faces. I'll be adding all 4 of the fruit ephemera pieces across the card, and I'll have them overlap one another. I'm using some liquid adhesive to attach them all in place. Decided not to pop them up this time. It's always good to have a few cards that aren't super thick, so they'll be easier to mail. I have the banana all the way to the left, then the orange, the apple, and the blueberries. And how cute is the one little blueberry wearing the rainbow headphones. For this sentiment, I'm using some of the puffy stickers that are included in the kit. I'll be adding them on some of the solid blue cardstock so they'll really pop. At first, I was going to peel off each of those letters and try to line them up nice and straight on this blue strip. But instead, I took a strip of washi tape, placed it over the top, rubbed firmly so all of those letters would adhere to the washi tape as I removed it from the acetate. Then I can just take that washi tape strip and place it on my blue cardstock strip. So now everything is the same placement. It's nice and straight. I'll still just rub those stickers down to make sure they'll adhere nicely. Put some double-sided tape on the back of this strip, and I was ready to add it to the card, and then I remembered this strip is the full width of the card, so it's 5.5 inches. So first I layered that polka dot paper on some dark blue cardstock. Then I'll put my card front onto a card base, and for this card I am leaving that 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. So now I can add the "Oh Happy Day" sentiment underneath the happy fruit. I'll also add some peel-offs along the edge of that sentiment strip. I'm using the silver moon dust color in the pinstripe style, and I have the narrowest width. Just putting it at the very edge of that blue cardstock. Then flip over my card to trim off the extra. For a final finishing touch, I'll add a few of the sequins. There's lots of beautiful colors in the sequin mix. I'm using just the dark blue. I'll put 2 of them in the lower right-hand corner and 1 to the left of the banana. I am using an embellishment wand to help pick those up, adding a drop of Barely Art glue, then using the opposite end of my embellishment wand to press those sequins in place. So there is my finished card. I love how this one turned out, but do let me know which card is your favorite. For card number 3, I'll be using a card sketch for inspiration. This is MFT number 578. And if you are interested in any of the card sketches I use in this video, I do share all of that information on my coordinating blog post. That link is provided in the description box below, or you can simply head over to KristieMarcotte.com. I'm using 2 different pattern papers for the background of my card. I have the rainbow stripe at the bottom and then this rainbow cheetah print at the top. I think that's really fun. Layered both of those on the dark blue cardstock that's included in the kit. Then I added a stitched circle die cut. I did trim off the bottom already, and I used some of the white pearlescent cardstock for that circle. There is a pearlescent cardstock bundle that's available as an add-on. I love Lizi's pearlescent cardstock. I put one of the peel-offs between those 2 pattern papers, used the silver moon dust in, I believe it's the widest width. Then for the sentiment, I'm using another cut apart. This is Celebrate. I will have it flush to the left, but I wasn't sure of the placement yet, so I'll hold on for now. For the image on the card, I'm adding this adorable little cheetah that has the same rainbow spots, and this cheetah is on roller skates. How cute is that? I'm popping it up using some of the foam dimension, and instead of the circles that are indicated on the sketch, I'll be adding some stitched star die cuts, and I cut these out of the mint green cardstock that's included in the kit. And I did pop up both of those stars with some thin foam dimension. For this sentiment, decided to just adhere it down flat, not going to pop it up. So I'll just flip over the card and trim off the extra. Then to finish out the card, I'll use some more of the mini circle peel-offs that are included in the kit. I'll put some of the medium circles in the center of the stars. I'll add a medium and a small circle to the left of the sentiment, and then also some of the smallest circles around the cheetah. And there is my finished card. I love how this one turned out. That cheetah is absolutely adorable. For card number 4, I decided to make a shaker card. It's been a while since I've done one, so I figure I was overdue. I used the cloud die that's included in the kit and cut out 2 cloud openings from some pink polka dot paper. And this is the back side of one of the cut apart sheets. I've already put some double-sided tape all over the back, just removing the release paper. Then I'll adhere some acetate on top of that piece, or on the back side. And the kit does include a full sheet of acetate, so that's really nice. So now it's time to build up the shaker window. I'm using some thin foam strips, and I will need to add a double layer. That way there'll be enough room for the sequins to move around inside the shaker. Now I'm only having the sequins behind the cloud opening. So the very bottom, I don't need to worry about if the foam pieces are snug up next to each other. But I will still need to add the foam dimension to make sure everything's at that same thickness. Obviously, I sped this portion up quite a bit. It's just me adding all these little bits of foam. So once those are all in place, I'll put some anti-static powder along the very edge of that foam dimension just to make sure the sequins won't be sticking later. Then I'll put some sequins in both of those cloud openings. Of course, they're very staticky, so they keep sticking to my finger. I'll be adding some of the white pearlescent cardstock behind the cloud openings. But instead of having just that white pearlescent cardstock, I decided to stamp some of these little star images that are included on the stamp set in the kit. I'm using some Catherine Pooler ink. This is the It's a Girl color. I stamped those images randomly in the background since you'll only see the little bit through the cloud opening. I decided to flip over that shaker panel to make sure you'll be able to see all those little stars. Now I would suggest doing this before you add all your sequins. I'm not sure why I didn't do that first, but that's okay. It still worked out just fine. I'll remove all the release paper on the foam. And some of those sequin pieces stuck to the pearlescent cardstock, so I'm just trying to put those back into the little windows. So now I can attach my pearlescent cardstock on the back side to seal all of those sequins in place. I did get it perfectly straight, so I will trim off the very top. Some of that pearlescent cardstock was a little wider up there. I'll put some ATG tape on the back of this panel and layer it on some pink cardstock. And this pink cardstock is included in the kit. I'll put some ATG tape on the back of this panel and put my card front onto a card base. For the image on the card, I'll be using this adorable ephemera unicorn, and I love this pearlescent finish on the body of the unicorn. It's so pretty when the light hits it just right. For the sentiment, I'm using some more of the foam letters. This time it's Dream Big, and I use the same technique that I did for the previous card just to make sure to get everything nice and straight. When you pull up the washi tape, make sure to go nice and slow. Some of the letters kept sticking to the washi tape, so I did have to lay it back down, rub just a little bit harder to make sure they would adhere to the paper. I'll use some liquid adhesive to attach the unicorn. Figured this card was already thick enough, I didn't need to pop up that unicorn also. And then to finish it off, I'll add some of the mini circle peel-offs in that clear iridescent color. I'll put 2 in the upper right-hand corner and 1 to the left of the unicorn. So there is my finished card. This one is so sweet. I love that little unicorn. It was a lot of fun making a shaker card again. For card number 5, I decided to do a very simple card. I have some green polka dot paper for the background. I'm adding this little unicorn with the rainbow headphones. This is one of the 2x2 cut aparts. Adhering it to a scallop square die cut. And I will be popping this image up using some foam dimension. The green cardstock is from my stash. This is not included in the kit. I'll remove the release paper and adhere the scallop square toward the top of this polka dot panel. For the sentiment, I'll be using another cut apart. This is Best Wishes, and I decided to add a fishtail to the left side as well as the right. Before adhering the sentiment in place, I will be adding some peel-offs. I think this is the jade color. I'm trying to remember what it's called, but it's a green glitter finish in the pinstripe style. Using the medium and also the narrowest width, just adding 2 of them across the card. And I'll be putting this sentiment right on top. This will add just a little extra sparkle. And what I love about the glitter peel-offs, all of that glitter is sealed, so it will not make a mess at all. Put some ATG tape on the back of the polka dot panel, layer it on some of the green cardstock. Put my card front onto a card base, leaving that 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. And I will be popping up the sentiment using the same foam dimension, just adding it to the back side, and then I'll center it underneath the unicorn image. I decided not to add any embellishment to the card. There are some green sequins, but it's not quite the right shade of green. But I will add a little more sparkle to the unicorn using a clear glitter brush, putting it on the horn, the unicorn's mane, and also the rainbow headphones. So there is my finished card. I think this one is so sweet. I love that little unicorn image. Now moving on to card number 6. I'll be using a card sketch for inspiration. This is Sugar Pea Designs Sugar Sketch number 38. I'm adding some of the rainbow diagonal stripe paper to the outside edge and also some of the pink polka dot paper for the center. Since you won't see most of the rainbow paper, I only needed to cut 2 thin strips, and I believe these are 3/4 of an inch wide. So just glue all of those down. I pulled out one of the add-on washi tapes. This is an iridescent finish and it's transparent. I didn't realize it was transparent. So I did cut a piece and I was ready to adhere it in place. I decided I really didn't like the look of it. That pink color when the light hits it didn't really match. So I put that washi tape aside, which I will use later. But instead I'm using some of the pink iridescent peel-offs in the straight style. So these are a little bit wider than the pinstripe. Just put one along the edge of that pink polka dot paper. Put my card front onto a card base. And I'm not following this sketch exactly. I won't have any of those circles that are featured. But I will add the 3 little strips toward the bottom of the card. I have some of the pink cardstock, then I'm attaching one of the paper clips that's included in the kit. So this is a fun little heart. I flipped over this piece and I'm putting some double-sided tape on the back of that paper clip just to make sure it won't slip off later. Now since that paper clip does add quite a bit of dimension, before attaching that pink strip, I want to add some foam dimension on the back side. And this is the perfect thickness, so everything lays down nicely. On the left side of that strip, I did cut some of that foam tape just a little too wide. So I was trying to use my scissors to trim it down. But it was attached to that pink piece, so it was a little hard to do. Then I'll remove the release paper and adhere it to the lower edge of the card. So I keep seeing some of that white foam sticking out from the very edge of the pink paper. I think I was able to tuck it in enough though. Then I'll use some pink holographic peel-offs in the pinstripe style. This is probably my favorite peel-off color. These are so sparkly and they're pink, so they're beautiful. I'm using the widest and the medium width, just putting them along the pink cardstock strip, and then I'll flip over the card and trim off the extra. Then I'll add just a tiny little piece to the very right side of the heart. I won't have anything in the center of the heart though. For the image on the card, I'll be adding another unicorn. This one's really cute. It's got pink sneakers and also a pink hula hoop. Isn't that fun? I've already put some foam dimension on the back side. Then I'll adhere the unicorn onto the pink polka dot paper. For the sentiment, I've trimmed this down. This is one of the banner cut-aparts, and it's hello. Decided not to have the fishtail on the end. I want to make sure it fit nicely. I did pop it up using some foam dimension. Then to finish off the card, I'll add some more of the mini circles in the clear iridescent color. Just trying to figure out where I wanted to place them. I put 2 above the unicorn to the right and 1 underneath the sentiment. This card has lots of sparkle and shine from the 3 different peel-offs and also that iridescent finish on the unicorn ephemera piece. Now moving on to card number 7. I'll be using a card sketch for inspiration. This is Freshly Made Sketches number 300. The background paper has this fun word search design, and all of those words are very positive and uplifting, although you won't really be able to see most of them once I add the rest of the pieces to this card. I'm also using some of the polka dot paper, well, 2 different polka dot papers. I have the blue with the colorful polka dots and also a reddish orange polka dot paper. I layered both of those pieces, one on the dark blue cardstock and the other on a very similar orange colored cardstock. Now I decided to use some of that iridescent washi tape at the very lower edge of the card. I'm placing it over 1 row of letters, and unfortunately that row doesn't have any of the positive circled words. There's a couple tiny words in there, but not the featured words. But it still adds this really pretty shine. I'll layer this panel on some dark blue cardstock, and I've already used up all of the blue cardstock that's included in the kit, but luckily I have a very similar colored cardstock on hand, because it matches beautifully with the pattern paper. For the sentiment, I've already stamped this out. I used one of the stamps that's included in the kit. This is "You Are Awesome." Before attaching this oval, I will add some foam dimension on the very left side, then some scrap paper in the center, just trying to keep that oval at the same level. Put some liquid adhesive on the back and adhere it to the card. I'll be adding 2 of the ephemera pieces. I have the rainbow bunting. I am putting some foam dimension on a few of those little flags to keep them at the same level. Then I'll put liquid adhesive on the back of the other flags. And I also have a little butterfly, and I did put some foam dimension on the back side of the butterfly. Now the butterfly piece, it had a similar butterfly and they were hooked together with a little perforation, but I did separate those and then just trimmed the very edge near the body where it was perforated so you didn't see that torn edge. So there is my finished card, and this is card number 7. For card number 8, I have 2 different pattern papers. They are on the busier side, but I think they still work well together. So the background has lots of happy hearts. So I decided to pair it with the pattern paper that has the sentiment happy and little hearts all over it. I used a stitch oval die for the happy pattern paper. Now I'm adding a couple of peel-offs to the very lower edge of the card. Decided to go with this mint green color. I'm using the medium and also the narrowest width. This green color matches nicely with some of those light green hearts on the pattern paper. I'll wrap the ends around the back, put some ATG tape on the back of this panel, and layer it on some dark blue cardstock. Then I'll add my card front onto a card base. So you can see this dark blue cardstock color works beautifully with the pattern paper in the kit. Now I'll bring in a few of the ephemera pieces. There's 2 cheerful hearts. There's a reddish, orange, and also this green. I did put some foam dimension on the back side before adhering them in place. For the sentiment, I'm using one of the cut-aparts, very rainbow colored "Love You." And I'll pop that up as well and put it underneath the hearts toward the left. The kit includes 2 meters of rainbow cords. There's this one that is very bright, and then there's another that's a pastel rainbow. It almost looks white, but it does have a little bit of color. I already tied a little bow using the vivid rainbow, and I focused more on the green and the blue on that cord. So to adhere it to the card, I used a small glue dot and just attached it underneath the sentiment. Then I'll add a couple of mini heart peel-offs. This is the pink clear iridescent color. Just put them next to the sentiment. So there is my finished card, and this is card number 8. For card number 9, I'm using one of the 3x4 inch cut aparts. The kit includes a 12x12 sheet that's been cut in half, but on one side it has a pattern and the other it has the 3x4 cut aparts. And I thought this one was super sweet with the little unicorn. The sentiment is keep some room in your heart for dreaming, and then there's a bunch of little stars around the unicorn. I'm adding a frame around that cut apart using the pink holographic peel-offs in the narrowest width. I cut the peel-offs just a little bit longer than the cut apart. Then I'm using my craft knife and mitering those corners together. Then I can remove the extra peel-off pieces. Then I'll press my finger in the corner to make sure they don't lift up. This is a very simple technique, and it adds a beautiful frame around your image or sentiment. I learned this technique from Lizzie, and now I do it all the time. I'll put some ATG tape on the back of the cut apart and add it to some more of the pink polka dot paper. Then at the very bottom of the card, I'm adding a strip of white pearlescent cardstock and also another washi tape, this time the rainbow mini hearts. I'll wrap the end around the back. Put some double-sided tape on the back of this strip and add it to the lower portion of the card. These little tiny hearts are very sweet. I love washi tape and I own a ton, but I'll admit I generally only use it for the back of the envelope. So this was fun adding it to the card instead. There are so many cute designs. I'll layer this panel on some pink cardstock, and this pink is included in the kit. Put my card front onto a card base, leaving that 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. My cardstock layers are generally an additional 1/8 of an inch to the pattern paper that I use on my cards. For this card, the pink polka dot paper is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and that pink cardstock layer is 4 1/8 inch by 5 3/8 of an inch. To finish off the card, I'll use some of the sequins that are included in the kit. Couldn't decide what color I wanted to use. I generally only pick one color of sequins. I was attempting to use multiple colors, but it just didn't look right. So instead I'm going with the light pink color. I'll put 2 in the upper right hand corner and 1 to the left of the sentiment. I'm using my embellishment wand to pick up the sequins, adding the drop of liquid adhesive, then pressing them onto the card using the back side of my embellishment wand. And since this is a little unicorn, it has to have some sparkle. So I'm using the clear glitter brush, adding it to the mane, the horn, and the little moon and stars. So there is my finished card, and this is card number 9. For card number 10, I'm using a card sketch for inspiration. This is Sugar Pea Designs Sugar Sketch number 25. I selected 2 different pattern papers. I have the rainbow hearts for the background, and then the tone-on-tone yellow star paper for that smaller rectangle. I'll layer the rainbow heart paper on some yellow cardstock, and then again on the dark blue cardstock. And this yellow is cardstock from my stash. I'll put my card front onto a card base, and for this card I won't have any of the white card base showing since there's already a lot of white in the heart background paper. For the image panel, I'm using some more of that dark blue cardstock. I'll be rounding all of the corners. Then I'll add 2 of the small banners on the right side. One out of the same dark blue cardstock, and then the second out of the pink cardstock that's included in the kit. Trying to get those layered together nicely. I'll put liquid adhesive on the back of the little banners and attach this panel to the card. And this is where I'll be adding my ephemera piece. So I have this darling unicorn cake, and this does have that iridescent finish on it. The sentiment I've already stamped out, make a wish. So this will be a perfect little girl birthday card. I'll be popping up the sentiment using some foam dimension. Made sure to get enough dimension so there isn't one area that sags. I'll remove the release paper and adhere the sentiment to the left of the image. To finish off the card, I'll add some of the peel-offs that are included in the kit. I'll put 2 of them to the right of the image, 1 to the left, and also 2 of the small circles around the sentiment. And there is my finished card. The glitter peel-offs add just the right amount of sparkle, and there's also the iridescent finish on the unicorn ephemera piece. So pretty. Now here's another look at the 10 cards I made using Love From Lizi's February 2022 card kit. The theme is a little bit of magic. This is such a fun kit. I love all the adorable images and the bright, cheerful colors. If you are interested, I do have links provided in the description box below. As I'm recording this voiceover, the kit and most of the add-ons are still available. This is a monthly kit, so quantities are always limited. The only way to guarantee receiving a kit is to sign up and subscribe. And I do have the links in the description box if you are interested in subscribing to Lizi's kits. I look forward to using them every single month. Now here's everything I still have left over after making the 10 cards. I have some of the cardstock. I did cut apart that yellow, but ended up not using it. I have lots of the pattern paper scraps, only 1 full sheet of the 6x6. I have the stamp set. That little girl image is adorable. The only thing I didn't use is the invisible thread. I still have lots of the puffy sticker sentiments. I have the peel-offs, and remember that is a used sheet. You do get a full sheet. I still have lots of the cord, 2 of the paper clips, and then the dies. I only use the cloud. There's also some little raindrops and a sweet little unicorn. I still have quite a bit of the sequin mix. Still have more of the acetate. And then lots of the ephemera. So it really does come with quite a bit, but as I mentioned earlier, there's also an add-on ephemera pack that has more sentiments. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.